Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 here in the pristine, untouched wilderness of the Calmlands. And we've got needs rolling. Well, it's just this one that needs rolling, and that we will roll a bit later. We're not going to worry about that right now. Just uncover that one and put that one back in. Right. It has been pointed out that maybe we don't need to do the rolling. It's an additional 2.5% yield overall on the crop, I've been told. I didn't actually realize it was that low an amount. So although rolling is something that will get us a little bit more money, it's not as significant an amount as I've initially thought it was. I thought it was actually closer to 5 or 6%. I didn't realize it was as low as 2.5. I mean, it should actually tell us in the information. So if we go into here and sowing and planting, plowing, cultivating, farming basics, improve yield, rolling. Rolling will grant you an additional yield bonus. Really? No information whatsoever. Lime tells us exactly how much we get. So you put lime in, you get 15% bonus. This one, spread fertilizer twice, plus 23% yield bonus each time, which is a significant amount. So fertilizer is definitely worth working on. Weeds. It doesn't tell us how much we lose. Stones, you don't lose anything for your for yields. It just damages the things. This, you get a bonus. It just says bonus. So I'm going to go with the 2.5%. Someone said 2.5%. I think it was Smock Farmer, I think, said 2.5% in the comment section. Applying a layer of biological material on top, blah, 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 blah. You will gain a bonus for mulching as well. So I don't know what the yields are for mulching and rolling exactly. So I'm going to assume that the mulcher would give something similar to the roller, and therefore we would assume that we would get 2.5% for each task, which means that overall we could gain an additional 5%. Which is not a huge amount, so we don't actually need to worry about it that much. Now, our roller is really small, and it takes forever to actually go across the field. So maybe selling the roller is not necessarily a bad idea. We get 708. I think we'd actually get about 800 if we took it up there, something like that. So selling the roller might be a good way forward. Now, a mulcher is something that we would like to get at some point. So there's one there for 9,500. That one's only 3 meters wide. So this would be sort of more the thing that we would want to get, something like that. It's wide, but it's 21,000, and that's a lot of money for 2.5% yield. So yeah, we'll kind of leave that for a minute, and then we've also got the rollers. He's here. Now, I don't know if I haven't updated quite a few of my mods for a little bit, and I've been warned that these Guttler rollers, they were really good, and I've really liked them. I've used them a few times. I don't know if we haven't got any others. Absolutely brilliant. I think it was this one I've used quite a bit because it's a really nice wide reach on it. 6.4 meters there. And we've got an 8-meter one here. So you've got 8 meters of width on your roller. And this one was really good, but apparently it's been updated to also mulch. So you've got a mulching option. Now, I haven't actually updated it, so I could, in theory, use it without any problems. Except, I mean, that's 17 grand. I'm not paying that. 14, maybe. For a 6-meter one. But the update with adding the mulcher has apparently destroyed the thing. So if you use it as a roller in the fields, it will remove the crop that you're rolling in, which is a little bit inconvenient, to say the least. So it's a tad inconvenient there. Whereas the other rollers that we've got available I'm sure there are actually other roller mods around. That one's pretty good, but the price of the other rollers is quite considerable. So, I mean, that one was sort of set apart as being a particularly good one. I do have another roller pack, but it's not in here. Because that must be one that I've added since I started the series. I don't generally add a lot of mods to a series because it can sometimes cause issues. But there is another one, and it's the one that I'm using in the time-lapse series. I like it, but for some reason when it picks up and reverses, it only does the hired help calculates the width of the roller based on the wheels, so it gets really confused when it's trying to turn around, and it's somewhat frustrating. I wish I'd known that before I actually started using it. But it does all right. I will be changing that one out once I get some bigger fields, because at the moment I mostly do it myself anyway, rather than using hired help. It's just a quick way around. It takes forever for the hired help to sort of figure things out, because of the fact that it's using the wheel width and not the roller width when it's doing its reversing and turning. Once it gets the rollers down on the ground again, the tractor moves out and it uses the outside edge of the rollers. So I don't really know what's going on there. And I'm assuming that the Gutler roller has got an update that has basically done this to it. It's given it this option. So we've got a roller option here with this configuration, and you got a mulcher option there as the standard for this Maag Machine. Is this Machine Agricola? I have no idea where that is. Kios Maag. Have we got a country of origin for this one? Does anyone know what the country of origin for the Maag Kios 45 is? I've got no idea. I'm looking at that. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can put that. Yeah, you can make it out there. Machina Agricola. I don't know. That's Italian, I'm thinking. Possibly Italian. I don't actually know. Does anybody have a country of origin for this one? If you do, please get into the comment section and let me know. I've got no idea. This is not one that I'm familiar with, but I'm guessing Italy at the moment. It's my first choice on that one, so I really don't know, though. We've got a couple of others. Right. So I think these are still alright for me, because I don't have two different options for them, but apparently the update has broken them. If you try and use them for rolling crops, it just deletes the crops, which is not very helpful. So we won't be getting that one, but if it's only 2.5%, then we probably don't need to worry too much about doing any rolling anyway, and we can do some other stuff. Right, now you are coming along quite nicely, but we've still got half a field to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the rest of this finish, because I've rattled on for long enough. Actually, I'll tell you what. We'll go over and we will have a look at the chickens a second. Just see how they're getting on. We can't do anything to them, but we can at least go around and we can have a look at different things if we want to. We've got 2,300 for food in there. Eggs are doing just fine at the moment, and we'll run over here. I can't remember what I've got in here. I could just press escape and look that way, but I want to do a bit of wandering around. 7,800. Okay, so we've got plenty of food here for the chickens, and the chickens with the eggs now, that's going to be a good bit of income coming in for us and us keeping things moving. Now, I would like to just, you know, put the combine away and do something with the roller and stuff like that, but I'm working out in the field, and Sen is lied up in bed in there and unable to do anything at all, which is less than helpful. So, until she gets better, we're stuck. So what I'm going to do, I think, rather than trying to fill this space needlessly with just random talking, I'm going to time-lapse the rest of this bit. This isn't going to be happening very much, but we will do a little bit, and then we'll see what's happening. we're done. Right. There won't be very... I know a lot of you that watch this series don't like the time-lapse stuff, so there won't be very much of that happening, but quite frankly, that would have been rather dull to just insert. Have you watching me go up and down? I already did some of it, so... It's all about striking that happy balance. Now then, I think what we'll do is we'll leave the machinery out like this at the moment, because we're going to have to go back into that field tomorrow and do a bit more. So if I just shut that one off there, it's only 11:15. I'm not going to worry about that too much. The chickens down here, if we go and take a quick look at... Actually, we don't need to go there. We want to go here anyway. We want to go to that bit. And if you take a look in here. So we don't need to worry about that. We've got one lot at 4 months. We've got a lot at 1 month. We've got these at 14. And we've got these at 6. So we've got 200 chickens now that are producing eggs. And in another 2 months, we're going to have another 100 chickens that are going to be producing eggs. And then 5 more months, we got that lot coming in, which means that the food is going to start being consumed a lot faster, but we have at least got the eggs being produced as well. Now, yes, my complaint with this particular pen is that the egg spawn area is not in keeping with the actual spawn area that's marked, so we're only getting 2 pallets at a time. So we are going to have to keep an eye on that, but at the moment it's probably going to be alright. We will, once the season change happens, not season change, once we've done our month, we'll go in there and we will start cultivating that up again. So we use the other tractor, we'll put the torpedo going on that, and then we can go and do some other work, because Sen is going to have recovered. So it's only 11:20, but we can still do this now. And then we can change it over, start cultivating. We need to get the barley planted as quickly as we can, because that's going to be, that is a winter crop. So here we got 1,455 euros left. Sen has recovered from her illness. She's now bright and chirpy and cheerful and bouncing around and is keen to go and do some work, so we're going to put her out in the field and we're going to make her do some work. The other problem that we will have now is the weeds down in this field will no longer be small weeds. Oh, wait a minute. Right, no, they're not small weeds anymore. They're now medium weeds, which means that we need a hoe to be able to do that. And tell you what, let's get the cultivator going first before we look at anything else. There's only like 2 hoe options, and they're both rather expensive, so we're not going to be able to do anything with that. That's kind of that's just a non-starter, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's fine. I wasn't planning on doing much in the way of weed control this year anyway, because to get a weeder or a hoe is going to be expensive. And I don't want to get either one, to be honest. Well, yes, no. I mean, getting a hoe is better, because if you do miss a small window of opportunity for taking out the weeds when they're in the small stage, at least with a hoe, you've got the second stage that you can take them out as well. This is a fully organic farm, so we will not be using any herbicides or pesticides or any sprays or any artificial fertilizers, anything like that. This is all about organic. So I'm not going to be putting any sprays on the fields. So if we get weeds come up through, then so be it, we will have the weeds. Now, ploughing is another option. If you plough the field, you don't get weeds come through the first year. And I rather like that side to it. It's not necessarily very accurate, but it does contribute to it. You will still get plenty of weeds coming up if you plough the field. Moldboard ploughing is less common now than it used to be, because it can add to compaction if you don't... It's not the moldboard ploughing on its own, it's if you don't do anything else with the moldboard ploughing. So the traditional plough, whilst it's good, with the tractors and so on that we have these days, you tend to get more compaction. So you do need to do deep soil work as well as the normal higher soil work. So, like, years ago, when you went and ploughed up your field, you had a team of horses that did your ploughing for you. And to be honest, a team of horses is not going to do a great deal to your field to compact it. These days, you've got these big old tractors going over the fields, then it is going to do a great deal to your field, and it is going to compact it. So you don't really want that. And this is why we have subsoilers now. You go over the field with a subsoiler and it goes way down below what an actual plough can reach and loosens up, breaks up the pan that will form in the fields if you don't properly take care of this. And it's becoming more of an issue in some places, but this is why we have alternative methods of dealing with it. And also, just direct seed drill. Just a direct seed drill. Direct drilling, if you don't plough at all, over time, the roots of the plant do actually help to break the soil, and they sort of open it up a bit. And it's a long and complex process of soil management and putting in the correct plants at the correct time in order to maximize the way that you do things. So yeah, there's all kinds of different ways that you can do it, but direct drilling is a lot more popular now because you interfere with the intricate layers of soil a lot less, and it's those layers of soil, the bacteria in the soil and the microscopic life as well as the small scale life in the soil and the different layers that do actually contribute quite significantly to what is going on deep underground and helping those plants to grow or not to grow. And that's kind of what we want to do. We just want to make sure that our plants can grow really well and can thrive in the conditions that we've set for them. And that's our aim as farmers. We want to be able to give them every possible head start. Now, artificial fertilizers, they can boost the yield of the field. They can help everything out. But at the same time, there's also downsides to them. They can bring out all kinds of problems and extra bits as well. If you're putting in artificial fertilizers, it can mess up the balance of the bacteria and life that is in the soil, and that imbalance, then you become more reliant on the artificial fertilizers, but it can also interfere with the organic content of the soil. So ultimately what you end up with is a soil that is less resistant to drought over the long term. And that can be quite a problem in some places. So there's different ways that this can be countered and dealt with, but it's not always foolproof. Right, what are you going to do now? You're going to try and turn around there, which means you're going to leave a big strip, which is slightly less than convenient for me, admittedly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to this end. I'm going to hopefully persuade the hired help to drive all the way down through. If I do it about there, so it will take up that little bit that we missed. If I go here. That's looking a lot better. Is he drifting off to one side? No. Doesn't appear to be drifting off to one side. Now, I have made a slight change to one of the game files, the game XML. The foliage draw distance, I think it was. And it seems to have stopped the flickering. Someone said, let me just find it a minute, because it does actually seem to have worked. So I'm going to... I've got a message here, and... Terra, a person called Terra, said, go into the game XML. So you want to go into your folder where you keep your mods. You want to go into the same place where you keep your mods. It's that game XML that you're looking for, not one in your main game file, right? This is just the standard game XML. And in that game XML file, if you're familiar with making some changes to mods themselves, then this won't be a problem for you. You use exactly the same process that you would use for editing an XML file in a mod. You just do this with the game file. It's the game XML just under where in the same folder that you find your mods. There's a game XML in there as well. It's not the mod folder. It's not inside the mod folder. It's back out from there one stage where you've got your mods, you've got your save game files, you've got all the rest of it. Down the bottom of that list, there is a game.xml file, and that's the one you're looking for. In there, you have got one of those headings. If you're not familiar with editing mods in any way, don't do this, okay? And if you're unfamiliar but you want to give it a go, make sure you make a backup before you do any changes. The number one rule for making any changes to mods or game files or anything else is create a backup. Always create a backup. Okay? If you think that you know everything and you're never going to make a mistake, create a backup. Right? Always, always make a backup. Because if you don't and you make a mistake, it's a lot more difficult to correct it. Okay? So that's the number one rule. Always make backups. Once you've made your backup and you're ready to go, then go into the game XML file and look for foliage view distance coefficient. Well, it says COEF, it's just COEFF. And that one, in mine, it was set on 2, so 2.000000. I think it's 6 zeros on it. Ignore the zeros. It's the 2 point. Now, well, that's what I had. Yours could be different. I don't know what yours will be set to. But change foliage, and it's all one word, foliage view distance COEF. So the COEF is just COEFF. Change foliage view distance COEF to 3.00000. The zeros will be there anyway. Whatever setting you've got on there at the moment, the zeros will be there anyway. It's only the number at the front that you want to change. And mine was on 2. I don't know what yours will be on. Change that to a 3, and that should remove the flickering trees if you're having issues with it. So I know that some of you are having issues with it. So anyone that has ever edited mod XML files, it's relatively straightforward. Just look for foliage view distance COEF and change that to 3 rather than whatever number you got on there at the moment, and that should work. I accept. I'm going to put a disclaimer on this because I really, really don't want anyone messing up the game and then saying, "Oi, Frith, I did this because you told me to." No, absolutely not. I am not claiming any responsibility for you messing up your game. Okay, so first of all, make sure you've got a backup. Let's go and put this combine away while I'm talking. Make sure you've got a backup. That's the first rule. The first rule of doing any modifications to your game, make sure you've got a backup. Rule number 2, if some idiot on the internet, this time that idiot would be me, if some idiot on the internet has gone and told you to do something, that doesn't mean you have to go and do it. Alright? So you do this at your own risk. I accept no responsibility for you messing up your game if you don't know what you're doing, right? Now, people who do know about editing mods and have had plenty of experience with doing it, it's no problem at all. You've probably already figured out what I'm talking about and can easily pop in and go and do it. If you have never edited a mod before in your life, I suggest you go and start practicing on mods before you start altering game files. Although it is the same process, if you've not done it before, you still need to practice, you still need to learn. And it's not a good idea to practice and learn on something that's important, like a actual game file. So it would probably be in your best interest to go and get a few mods and download Notepad++. It's an excellent program. It's free. Use that one for modifying any game, for editing any mods. It's absolutely brilliant. It's really straightforward. It puts all of the code out in various different colors. It's the best way to go with it. You will not get a better option than that. Now, if I double tap Alt, I can pick up that pallet and just move it back out of the way. I forgot we got that. You can do it in this. We won't do it with a pallet. Let's go and find something else. I must have something lying around here. I must have something that we can do this with. There is a little bug. It was much more pronounced in FS17, I think it was. And you could fly. You could actually make yourself fly. Let's go in here. Can I take any of these bits off the shelves? No. Ah. Okay. These items don't come off the shelves. Oh, by the way, for those of you who aren't familiar with this map or with the Haut-Bayleron map, if you go and pick up the game cartridges, you put them there, and then you go up here and you press R, and it will actually put the game cartridge up on there. You can't play the game, but it does give you a little bit on the screen for the different ones that come up. So we got no objects here. It's a bit of a shame. We got anything that we haven't got anything we can pick up. Something that I can pick up. I mean, I could go and pick that one up, and I could use that, but that kind of doesn't feel right. Ooh. What if I can do it with this? Right. You got to get this right. So. Oh, I see. Right. Yeah, it's not working here. Right, it's not going to work with that plant. If you picked up like a broom or something, it would basically mean that you could hold the end of it and then you would start flying. And you just sort of walk higher and higher and higher into the air. It was absolutely fantastic. So maybe... I'll tell you what, we will try it with a pallet, considering that it did just kind of happen with the pallet. So let's see. If I pick that one up... It's going to work. Is it? I'm standing on the pallet, but it's not actually making me go skywards. That doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. But you could, when FS17 came out, you could get hold of the end of a stick or some of the objects that were just placed down. And unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.